So I'm going to be talking to you about privacy policies. Privacy policies build on access control and on passwords. And the objective of all of this, as I said before, is to try to develop mechanisms or tricks in order to protect our information or information that we post on social media. So we want to look at what a privacy policy is, also called privacy settings, what others see about you, how we interact with others, and how we keep our profiles secure by defining good privacy policies. So a privacy policy is nothing magical. It's just basically a set of rules or documents that we use to declare to the service provider, who is usually the provider of the social media platform that we are using, and who makes sure that the application is running in the way that we expect. And we provide these privacy policies to the service provider to tell them what we want done and not done with our personal data. Okay. And the reason that we want to do this, as I said before, is because social media generate a lot of private data, a lot of personal data, and this data is very, very interesting for people who want to use this for example, marketing, for advertising, for social media analytics. Okay. So how do privacy policies relate to social media users? Well, we have a privacy policy because we want to specifically control what information we make public. So, for example, we want information that is really private to remain within the circle of friends with whom we have discussed it. Okay. So what others see about us? So for example, every time we upload a photo, every time we upload a video, we need to choose who it is we want to see this information. If, for example, we choose to say that we want this information to be visible to the public, then we need to accept that everybody is going to see this photograph or see this video and make conclusions about it. Okay. We want to, therefore, because certain information needs to be kept private, to categorize users or friends that we have into groups, okay? So every social media platform has something in the settings, in the configurations. It's usually on the first page of the social media application that you're dealing with that allows you to decide how to categorize friends. So usually you have different categories. You can have, for example, friends, family, public, and so on. And for each bit of information that you want to post or that you want to make public, what you need to sit back and think about is, to whom do I want to show this information to? What message do I want them to draw from this information? And then think about how you want to categorize this information and make this information available to the persons that you want it to be available to. The nice thing about most social media platforms is that if somebody whom you've previously categorized in terms of some friendship or some close group or some family group is misbehaving, you have the nice possibility of blocking this user. So for example, if they post content that is not appropriate, you can block the content and say that you don't want to see this content any longer. And you can even go as far as blocking or unfriending the person so that they are not able to influence or to contribute or to see information that you have posted or to post information on your profile that you don't want posted. Okay. So when you define these privacy policies, as I said before, for access control, you need to take into account things like transitive disclosures. You need to be careful about what you post because not everybody has the same security consciousness as you do. So you need to be aware of this and take into account this in posting information. So take into account the fact that when you broadcast information, you need to decide, do you want this information available only to a first layer of people, or do you want the information available also to a second layer of people if it so happens that they are interested in this information? To keep your profile secure in terms of privacy policies, you just need to use common sense. So for example, play it safe. It's better usually to grant fewer privacy authorizations at the beginning than to grant too many and then have to start blocking or revoking these privacy policies, because it's a lot of work and usually you might forget to control or to block users whom you should be blocking in the first place. Be careful about the content that you post. Remember, this is public. People read information that you post and they make deductions or conclusions from it, and you don't want, particularly on things like your timeline, which are quite public, to have information that is sensitive and that can be used either to draw conclusions about you or for people who are trying to provoke identity theft attacks to have enough information just by viewing your profile in general to be able to reconstitute a plausible personality. Okay, so the next time what we are going to do is look at how we post content, what inferences can be drawn from the content that you post, and why it is that it's important to look at how, very carefully, how you define privacy policies, how you define access control policies, how you set passwords in order to make sure that your information is protected and that people who should not be accessing your information do not have the possibility of doing so. Okay. So we try to remember, as a recap, that we have privacy policies, and the main importance that they exist for is that access control policies and passwords cannot do everything. So for example, a password protects your profile from people wanting to physically access your profile with your password. Access control policies allow you to decide what categories of people you want to place into different boxes that you have defined. Privacy policies allow you to build on that by defining what specific content you want people to be able to access, what misbehaviors you want to be able to control, or what behaviors you want to be able to control. So you need a combination of all of these different mechanisms in order to make the information that you post on social media to be what it is that you want to post and to be visible to the people that you want it visible to.